Good evening, barflies, lounge lizards, and welcome to the Atomic Snack Bar. And tonight we're discussing some wacky and weird B-movies. And first up we have The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies from 1964. Produced and directed by Ray Dennis Steckler, The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies, which was the working title for Casablanca, is an oddball carnival-themed monster movie. And it tells the story of a group of friends led by what I'm sure was H.P. Lovecraft's illegitimate love child. The three go to a carnival where they see a fortune teller with the cloudiest looking crystal ball around and watch what seems like it's going to be a girly show, but is actually a weird dance number. After the show, our lead is hypnotized and he goes on a violent rampage. And I'll mostly leave it at that to avoid spoilers. But I will say that the incredibly strange creatures do finally come in the last 15 or so minutes of the film. They don't stop living and become zombies though. Director Ray Dennis Steckler was a director, producer, writer, and actor and is best known for this very film. But he's also the man behind the nearly as strange superhero comedy Rat-Finka-Boo-Boo. Not to mention the White Rabbit promotional video for Jefferson Airplane. And speaking of Steckler, he also starred in The Incredibly Strange Creatures, credited as Cash Flag. He also had a small part in Ega. Then we have Carolyn Brandt as a dancer/singer who seems like she will be a main character, getting a lot of focus early in the film, only to not feature in the latter part at all. She was married to Steckler for a while and also appeared in Rat-Finka-Boo-Boo and Ega. The Incredibly Strange Creatures Who Stopped Living and Became Mixed Up Zombies was not the title originally intended for the film. It was either going to be called The Incredibly Strange Creatures or Why I Stopped Living and Became a Mixed Up Zombie. But the longer title was chosen due to either a potential lawsuit or an actual lawsuit, I read both, because of Dr. Strangelove or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. The Incredibly Strange Creatures was billed as the first monster musical. Though it's not what I really would consider a traditional musical. There are some strange music and dance numbers spread throughout, but it's not of the characters singing the plot variety. This is a trippy and weird movie with very little in the way of zombies, but it features a great carnival setting, some wonderfully strange imagery, and this awesome monkey.
Get your tickets here! Get your tickets! Get your tickets! Get your tickets! Get your tickets here!
And this entry was brought to you by Snack Bar VIP Gappa von Lederhosen. Next up we have Attack of the Killer Tomatoes from 1978. Co-written and directed by John DeBello, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is an independently produced docudrama about a topic that the media has tried so hard to cover up. And that's the true story of the tomato attacks of 1978, when this vicious fruit turned upon mankind. The government, at a loss at what to do, put together a team of specialists led by Mason Dixon. Also on his team were a master of disguise, a scuba diver, an Olympic swimmer, and a tough-as-nails parachute enthusiast. Together, these brave heroes stood against the ripe-red monsters of which we speak, saving the world with almost no fanfare. This docu-film stars David Miller as Mason Dixon. Miller also appeared in Ghost Riders and Speak of the Devil. Then we have Stephen Peace as our parachuted hero. Peace was an actor, writer, producer, and politician who helped create the Tomatoes film empire. He would return for 2 of the Killer Tomatoes sequels. Next, I wanted to mention character actor Jack Riley.
I'm not talking about that, you wiener!
Riley was an actor, comedian, and writer, possibly best known for The Bob Newhart Show, but he was also in Spaceballs, Chud 2, and a ton of TV shows. And finally, we have a special appearance by the Royal Shakespearean Tomatoes, which was no easy get. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was based on the best-selling novel The Tomatoes of Wrath, and it was a major influence on the film Jaws, even though it came out several years later. That's just how much of an impact it made on Spielberg. And it features one of the greatest theme songs in film history.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes! Attack of the Killer Tomatoes!
As I've said many times before, a theme that mentions the title of the movie makes every movie better. If you could name one film where that isn't the case, well, I'll ignore your comment. Attack of the Killer Tomatoes would go on to receive 3 sequels, all of which DeBello directed, a comic adaptation, a new film in 2026 that is supposed to be a reboot and a sequel, and an animated series in 1990. And oh doggy, I was all about that show as a lad. I thought that Zoltan, voiced by Maurice LaMarche, was the coolest. I always wanted the Zoltan toy, but never got around to getting it for some crazy reason. But Attack of the Killer Tomatoes is an important film that tells an important story. If you dig hard-hitting documentaries like Airplane or Mac and Me, you should definitely check this one out. And last up, we have Hillbillys in a Haunted House from 1967. Directed by Gene Yarbrough, Hillbillys in a Haunted House is a haunted house comedy that feels like an episode of Green Acres meets Scooby-Doo. It also has an unusual amount of country songs, and it tells the story of a pair of country singers and a manager who are driving to the next gig in Nashville. They come across a shootout between the local authorities and a bunch of spies, and that's about all the info we get there. The trio then breaks down near a seemingly empty house. Not long after, a group of randos show up, tell them it's haunted, and sing them a little song before hightailing it out of there. The three investigate and see that clearly something not good happened here. Turns out, the house is actually the secret base of a group of spies who work for Universal Pictures. They also happen to have a gorilla with them, because, well, it's just good thinking really. But these spies use tricks to make the house appear to be haunted. Director Gene Yarbrough also directed genre films such as King of the Zombies and The Devil Bat. The film stars Ferlin Husky as one of our country musicians. Husky was an actual country and rockabilly artist as well as a comedian. Then as the other country performer, we have Joy Lansing. Lansing was a model, actress, and nightclub singer. She appeared in films such as Bigfoot and The Atomic Submarine. More importantly, cast-wise, we have Basil Rathbone, Lon Chaney Jr., and John Carradine as our spies, plus performances by Merle Haggard and Sonny James. But even more important than that, we have Gorilla Man legend George Barrows as Anatoly the Ape. Barrows was, of course, the Ro-Man, or as most know him, the greatest heartthrob ever put on the silver screen. Hillbillys in a Haunted House is a sequel to the 1966 film The Las Vegas Hillbillys, only this one featured Jane Mansfield instead of Joy Lansing. I haven't seen that one, but even with as complicated and deep as the Hillbillys in a Haunted House plot is, I wasn't any more confused than usual. Much like The Incredibly Strange Creatures, this one features some musical numbers, and even though some of them were pretty good,
But the cat came back, the cat came back. I thought he was a goner, but the cat came back 'cause he wouldn't stay away.
I ended up skimming past most of them, including the last 10 minutes of the movie. Even still, I had a good time with this one. And that's all the time we have for this weekend. So Marge, I heard you've been watching reruns of the Snack Bar. What do you think?
I can't stand them. Every time I get near one, something strange happens to me.
That's called donut eroticism, baby. Please like, comment, subscribe, hype, watch the skies, keep it wacky, stay atomic. Oh yeah.
It's the perfect night to visit the local drive-in. Suddenly, monsters start appearing out of the darkness to turn your night into the Drive-In Movie Monsters Unite to Fright. A thrilling new board game from R.P. Whalen and the Game Crafter, available July 2026. Who is in your monster crew?
A Play-Doh man, a cat, a dog, a funny crocodile, a hobby horse, a yellow frog, a monkey with a smile, a cuckoo bird, an apple tree, a willy walrus, a moo cow, a bumblebee, a Play-Doh-potamus, an elephant, a ball, a house, a polka dot giraffe, an aeroplane, a ship, a mouse, a face to make you laugh. Play-Doh, Play-Doh, you can make it with Play-Doh.
Every Play-Doh 4-pack has 4 blendable colors. Play-Doh, from the Play-Doh people.